What's up, guys, and welcome back to the GameShow Global Esports Cup. It's going to be Game 2 between MVP Phoenix and First Departure. MVP with a really aggressive draft, won Game 1, and First Departure with a really weird draft that probably wouldn't have worked. Didn't win. Go figure. I'm Mikelorus. Going to be joined by Daneliecasts for this second game. I just want to see First Departure do something normal, or normal for them.
Reserve time.
Not just normal, but you could say something that looks and feels stable. I think that's probably that's the answer that I'd be looking for First Departure. Their draft was so quirky and it was so interesting, but we never really got to see it happen. So we'll see if they try and go for their normal kind of strategies, or if they're going to go for something that's more standard in the meta, or maybe they'll go for something else absolutely crazy and wacky, because I think that's just what First Departure likes to do. Maybe they just do it to experiment and no, don't do it. No. They go for the exact same supports as their first two picks, so it just feels like First Departure is super comfortable with these supports. I hope they pick up cores, though, that are going to not just synergize with the Vengeful Spirit and Dazzle, but will also be able to work off of the supports and do something. So hopefully they don't pick a super hard carry that can't really do anything for the first 20 minutes or is too item dependent. MVP Phoenix, so they go back for one of their favorites. They pick up the Doom as their first pick, and First Departure, they've got to be prepared for someone to just literally walk around like a creep.
And now I'm pretty sure MVP Phoenix may be thinking about grabbing a Slardar again. I don't know, maybe. That's definitely what First Departure wants. With the minus armor, do a hell of a lot of damage. Kind of weird not to see like a Templar Assassin, as we mentioned before, mixed in with that minus armor. Would have been an okay hero, maybe, or would have done better or worse than that Troll Warlord, but I don't know. They really needed a non-Spectre hero, I feel, for First Departure. It's a Lich for MVP Phoenix. Now, this is an interesting one. I'm expecting a Slaughter ban out, but for this Lich pick, this is like as much of a counter as you can get to a minus armor strategy, because you do have that Frost. And, 9+ armor is not too bad at all. Heroes like Doom definitely do need the help with that armor department, but it's a rather early pickup of the Lich, but I think it is rather well warranted, especially after the last game. MVP Phoenix should know what First Departure are at least trying to get towards.
Yeah, not just that with the Lich as well. MVP Phoenix might be looking into running a weaker laner so that the Lich is going to be able to back it up. So I think the Shadow Fiend would have been the #1 hero if you were looking at. If you weren't comfortable playing the Shadow Fiend, then the Lich would have been able to back you up. But they ban it themselves, so denying the Shadow Fiend from First Departure would have worked with the negative armor strat if they did want to go in that direction. And First Departure, they get rid of the Ember Spirit. MVP Phoenix is one of their most comfortable heroes, just denying them that hero. Very elusive, and if they did pick up the Ember Spirit, I think First Departure would have a lot of trouble in dealing with it, just because they're not running supports with reliable disables that still can be disjointed. So no Ember Spirit for this game. Are there any Lich partners that Phoenix could possibly be looking into?
I mean, the beauty of Lich is that you don't really need a, quote-unquote, Lich partner, right? Really anyone does well, because once you have a Lich in the lane, you're not guaranteed to win it, but you're going to minimize the losses should you lose it. So, really, it doesn't really matter who it goes towards. You go all the way from Spectre Lich and just try to get that Spectre a little bit more experience, or you could go straight to, Luna Lich and just have the Lich be a little more of an aggressive playstyle with that Luna. So yeah, for Phoenix, I don't really think it matters too much for them. Winter Wyvern is banned out. Now Slaughter is available here from the FD side. Huskar, I guess it's also worth noting, was banned out in the last game, and it is something that we've seen Miracle just roll teams with in the past. But First Departure, they have now access to what we thought their plan was in the first game. Will they go for that, or do they have something completely different in mind? Again, this is Miracle we're talking about. He's a Morphling player, he's a Naga Siren player, but up against Doom, not sure if you really want to be doing that.
I dread the difference. I dread that different pick that First Departure could go for, but if they do want to go for a different pick, I'd hope they pick it last, just so that they don't reveal it to MVP Phoenix so early, so that Phoenix aren't able to really prepare around that hero pick. So we'll see what they decide to go for. I don't know first. I think Miracle did play a Naga Siren. I think that was their game before this. It was against Signature Trust. I think they did run a Naga Siren. I think it was successful. So Miracle still plays Naga. I was a long time since I've seen Miracle actually play Naga Siren. So I did look through the stats. He has played it recently. So yeah, as you said, Naga Siren is an option for First Departure if they do want to go in that direction. what do they go for? They're really thinking about it as well. And I think third picks are God, I can't speak English today. It's surprisingly difficult because a third pick can decide your entire draft. And they're going to go for a Darkseer, so still not really showing off what they are going to go after. But this is more of an indicator towards a starter or any sort of melee here with a mobility skill to synergize with the Darkseer. So it's also safe, a safe offlane as well, because even though you're dealing with a Lich, it's not really enough catch to chase down the Darkseer unless MVP Phoenix picks up something like a Disruptor to lock him down in place. But it's completely up to them if they want to go in that direction.
10 seconds.
The Lich has a Frost Blast to harass, but as far as getting kills in the Darkseer, you really need some form of hard disable. This is First Parcher taking the path that I think we both kind of want them to see. If they're going to go for something weird, get it after you get the normal stuff like Darkseer. I think I would have been a little bit more on board with Darkseer's, with the First Parcher picks if it was Darkseer Dazzle as the opening and then Vengeful Spirit third. Like, that would have been, I think, a little bit more comfortable for me to see, but they get there in the end, and really that's what matters. For MVP Phoenix, what's going to be the pick now for them? I mean, there again isn't really that much to work off of. They may want to prepare for a little bit of more minus armor, so maybe trying to get some defensive kiting tools. It is hard because the physical burst is going to be usually pretty high with minus armor strategies, but maybe just trying to like prepare for a good TA matchup in the mid lane, or maybe just going to grab a Disruptor, as you said, to deal with that Darkseer. Honestly, for MVP Phoenix, seems pretty open-ended. I mean, again, with the Lich, they can run actually any lanes they want. It's a Bane. It's another hero, much like the Disruptor, that's very often picked up. To counter that Darkseer has, Nightmare and Brain Sap, but Ursa is the pick for First Departure.
Ursa. I don't really mind it, but there's so much kite ability that MVP Phoenix actually has. And also, Bane can sort of render Ursa not completely useless, but at least mitigate some of the damage output from an Ursa just with the Enfeeble. So MVP Phoenix, I think they're in a pretty good position to deal with the Ursa, but why could not have been last? If they pick a standard hero last, I am going to hit my head on the wall.
Okay.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean,
I don't know.
It
I lost
seems
it.
okay with what First Parcher have. Like, they definitely have the tools to enable an Ursa. Like, the minus armor is going to obviously help out, but the Grave for Ursa to go ham a little bit longer. The Surge is amazing with the Ursa. That being said, Bane is pretty nice anti-Ursa tag. Not with just the Enfeeble, but with also Grip and Nightmare. Just put him to sleep and ignore him. Now MVP Phoenix are going to grab a Venomancer, so they'll have another very crippling slow to try to deal with that Ursa, at least early on. Not exactly the best hero, again, at dealing with the Darkseer, and this is looking like it's going to be a Venomancer going towards the mid lane, so MVP Phoenix definitely mixing it up a little bit with their own picks. They have a couple tools to deal with this Ursa, but really they're not super well equipped. The Venomancer pick against Ursa, kind of mediocre.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, Venomancer at least provides MVP Phoenix with some sort of push, because you look at their current draft, and they don't have any heroes that would have been able to really push the lanes out. And Veno can really do that with the wards, so no one really has to put themselves in any sort of weird positioning to defend the tower. It's just mostly going to be the Veno wards. So I think that might be the biggest thing around the Veno. If it's a mid-Venomancer as well, are we probably going to be seeing an early mechanism on the Venomancer so that MVP Phoenix has the sustain?
5 seconds remaining.
That's possible, but usually for mid-Venomancers, they want to just go straight into the Blink Dagger Ags type build and just be a damage powerhouse. Well, it's going to be a Naga Siren game First Departure. I can't say I'm too surprised about this. MVP Phoenix, I mean, I get it. They didn't have the Lich and the Doom. Good starts to go up against Naga Siren, but, lacking really secure catch. Like, it's only really the Bane with the guaranteed disables on the Phoenix side. They have a hell of a lot of slow, and the Doom has a silence and a lot of movement speed difference there, but Naga Siren, as far as catching up to her and killing her off, might be a little bit more difficult for Phoenix than they were really expecting. They, in fact, banned a Juggernaut. Not really sure if that was a super high likelihood of a pick for First Departure, but either way, Naga Siren, and we all know what miracles Naga Siren can do.
I think Juggernaut would have been fine for First Departure. I've seen Miracle handle a Jug, and he's pretty good at the hero as well. I think it would have been a safe pick too if they did want to go for a Jug, but I think just going back to his roots and playing the Naga Siren, if it's available, why not? So, MVP Phoenix. Oh, the Alchemist got through! Oh, I completely forgot about the hero. And I shouldn't, because we know how explosive Alchemist can be. Okay, now I'm a little bit afraid here for First Departure. Because you know Alch, he comes online so quickly if you don't have anyone there to harass him down. And First Departure, they're running an Ursa and a Naga Siren as their two main cores to do the damage, and they're not that great at ganking. So this Alk, I think he has a lot of space to really farm it up.
And they will need to get like a fast blink dagger on Ursa or something like that if they want to successfully kill off this Alchemist. But Alchemist is going to have a hell of a lot of protection, you know, mostly just with this Lich and a Bane occasionally poking in. This Alchemist, well, it's going to be played by, that was Febby, right? He was the mid lane Tiny last time, but I expect for MVP Phoenix, they're thinking Alchemist going to go up against the Naga Siren lane. And Alchemist versus other melee heroes usually actually pretty darn good because of the AoE of Acid Spray and just get constant harassment there. You can just go for the power farming builds as the Alchemist in this game. I'm actually not a huge fan of the hero in this patch, and I know that probably makes me the minority, but I feel like you can shut him down very early if you have the right heroes. But this is really where 5th pick Alchemist gets a lot better than, say, 1st pick Alchemist. First Departure obviously didn't have any time to pick, quote-unquote, the right heroes to deal with Alchemist. No consideration for, like, Ancient Apparition or anything like that. A really hard lockdown, hard burst, like a Tiny or something like that is great up against the Alch. But, yeah, they're going to grab the Alchemist, and I think this is a pretty good situation to be an Alchemist for MVP Phoenix. If he is going to go for power farming, everyone on his team has an Aghanim's upgrade. Venomancer has a very, very good Aghanim's upgrade. Probably first place Veno, second place Doom, and then Lich, Bane, whatever. The Nightmare Fiend's Grip is almost irrelevant. But for First Departure, they're all posted up on the hill right now. And it seems like they just want to get this level 1 bounty rune. They probably will get it. MVP Phoenix, their level 1 fight is actually really bad.
Yeah, so I think if MVP does run into the entire First Departure draft, I think they're just going to give away the top rune. And it looks like most of them are congregating into the bottom lane, so they should be able to grab that. Now, for First Departure, do you think it's just going to be Miracle running in that mid lane? Because it's never going to be a Darkseer unless they are expecting, or unless they really want to put a Darkseer up against an Alk. And if they did put up an Ursa, it would have been quirky. But I guess the thing with Alk as well is he's so strong with the Acid Spray, so especially in a melee matchup, he's able to put in some of those extra harassment hits, especially with the negative armor from the Acid Spray. So I think in any situation, First Departure would still struggle in a lane up against the Alk. So we'll see if Miracle's able to overcome the Alk situation, or if it's going to be mostly our Alchemist here just going completely ham in the mid lane, unless he goes for Greedfall's Greed first level.
Yeah.
Okay, he's going full on Greed.
Well, you get the bounty rune first, so you really do want that gold. It's bottle first, so level 1 is really like one of Alchemist's lowest points, where he always wants to get the bounty rune, and if he doesn't, then he's pretty much screwed in lane. Or, I mean, he's not screwed, but he's going to do a lot worse. But nowadays, some Acid Spray, he can actually put some hurt back into the Naga Siren and look to trade evenly. Naga Siren with high armor, like 6 at level 1, is actually insane. Is usually able to trade hits with any given hero very comfortably, but now with the kind of mixed, or balanced rather, armor situation, for the Alchemist and the Naga Siren, it's going to be a lot more difficult for Miracle, and he is actually sticking around this lane quite a bit. I'm pretty sure the Alchemist would be okay just by himself, but add a Lich into this, and Miracle's experience and levels going to be a lot harder to come by. The trade-off, of course, is that up towards top, there's a tri-lane, a pretty dangerous one at that, going up against Bane and the Venomancer. Nightmare, not really going to be super useful up against these 3 heroes. They really will need just Gale and hope that the Ursa is too slow to come into range.
Absolutely. I think it's also because they did the Lich just sacrifice in the mid lane. It's just a bit of a respect play because they know Miracle's Naga Siren. So it looks like they're going to try and jump onto the Venog. Pops the Gale, and unfortunately Ursa already running into one of his own dilemmas of being kited. So unable to get close enough to the Venog. He is only running Tangos though, so if the supports don't have cells, which they don't, he's going to have to slowly accumulate the HP back up to where he would like to be. So unfortunate there for MVP to lose the Venog's HP, but I think at this point they're fine. They can kind of share the experience with all their heroes, unless he has to try and trade hits with the Dazzle.
I mean, the Lich being here is probably going to end up winning this lane for MVP. They're going to get the Gale. Lubby's right around the corner. Magic Missile onto the Venomancer. No mana for the Gale. Here comes the Earth Shock and the right clicks. That's going to be Venomancer down. Mental Spirit going to draw that first blood, and this is a situation where it shouldn't be too surprising, honestly. Like, the tri-lane of First Departure is just that much stronger than MVP's tri-lane. Yet MVP, even with losing a couple heroes because they do have the Lich in lane, denying 1 creep is usually pretty bad, but denying 1 creep to 3 heroes is absolutely disastrous for first party. Every single time that sacrifice is casted,
Lane.
ASDF gonna get into a fight with Miracle over in mid. Concoction is there, but Lubby chasing down the courier. Ooh, just a little bit too slow, even with the boots. Is going to survive, but yeah, not really super healthy.
Yeah, so very lucky there for MVP not to lose their career. It was a good decision there for Lubby to try and chase it down, but he runs at the exact same movement speed as the courier. So chances of him getting the secondary hit would have been pretty slim unless he was a little bit ahead of the courier. They will try and wait for a jump onto March. Now, it is just a Darkseer, so let's see if it's enough damage to take down the Doom. He will throw the stun and no commitment. So a little bit too far back, unfortunately.
Yeah, Lubby has 100 HP. You really don't want to be diving towers with 100 HP. March is working with double mangoes and the stick. He's going to have a lane where he's going to be pushed, and he's not going to get as much CS as the Darkseer, so Cal is going to have an absolutely free lane on this bottom lane, but still this lane is far from bad for this Doom. Should be getting his levels, should be getting experience, and doesn't really have to go into the jungle, at least not as a desperation move for March. So it is really going to come down to how this top lane operates. That's going to determine who's actually going to be winning this game. For right now, the Ursa is last hitting pretty decently, even though he's up against an enfeebling Bane. So 20 damage of right click for Ursa, not exactly what you want. Very difficult to last hit, just play techies, but they're going to actually, never mind, throw Concoction over towards mid. ASDF is actually going to mix in a little bit more of a battle build than I would expect. Usually it's just 0 Concoction, just max out Spray, max out Greed, go power farm. But going for phase boots and for 1 point Concoction, he's a little bit more fight ready.
Yeah, I kind of like this play from MVP because they know that if you give a Naga Siren too much space, then she does start to snowball. So, to you, is this an indicator that MVP is going to fight early with the Alchemist rather than just going for that farming Radiance? Maybe he'll go for something like an Assault Harass to help his team out. Lich's going to try and chase out the Darkseer, whereas we've got Miracle still chasing after the Alchemist. Although it looks like he might be in trouble. He could get sandwiched in very shortly, but it depends if Miracle wants to commit. But here comes the support. We've got the Doom with the Doom available. There's the Doom onto Cal. The Alchemist going to be ready with the stun. So, oh, there's going to be a song and the Alchemist stun. No, he won't stun himself because of the song. Cal will get out safely unless someone is there to catch him. And it looks like no one's going to be there. So he should be able to survive the Doom duration.
Well, it's not bad for first Parcher that they got the Darkseer out of there, but they traded the song away for the Doom, and Song has a super high cooldown at level 1, so yeah, they get away this time, but next time there's going to be no guarantee that they escape in that situation, since March is going to have a Doom soon, and, well, Miracle will not have a Song soon, so the cooldown timer is definitely working for MVP in that exchange. And killing off the Darkseer, not really terribly huge deal that he escapes. I mean, Doom is level 6 right now, and Darkseer, because he was rotating around, and I guess looking for stacks for the Alchemist, which aren't there for some reason, is only level 5. I would like to see someone on MVP start making some stacks for the Alch. Like, this hero, more so than others, benefits so much from having numerous units to kill in the jungle, and he can do it very easily with Acid Spray, so there's really no point in not doing it. He's going to start.
Yeah, I think what happened was they didn't really get to start on the stacks because they were originally up against a tri-lane in the top lane, so they wanted to make sure that the Veno got sufficient farm and was feeling a little bit safer before they did decide to try and rotate the supports out. Ryzen's still here, so at least there's someone to defend him, whereas for the Lich, he's kind of roaming around. He's not really sticking into any lanes. He is at level 3, it's not too bad. He could be a little bit higher at this point, but I think at this, he's just trying to stabilize and march on the bottom lane. Oh, look at the damage coming through. He will manage to pop a War Stomp off, but is there enough damage for Lop? And there isn't. So, unfortunate for first departure. If they possibly get a secondary stun, they might be able to get it, but we've got Heen coming in, just showing off his scary face saying, get out of this lane, shoo, shoo.
This Doom is mad tanky, and War Stomp usually not going to be super relevant for Dooms early on, but when you're guaranteed to get into melee range because that's what Ursa wants, well, then you get a free chance to War Stomp and get away. That or the net, the ensnare from the trolls, the Dark Troll Summoner would have probably kept him safe, but yeah, Ursa not getting that kill in a situation where you catch a hero walking up the high ground. You should be getting most of the kills most of the time in that scenario, and Doom's just going to continuously farm down towards bottom lane, now level 7, and is working with maxed out Scorched Earth, so killing him in the future unless you 100-0 him immediately, probably just not gonna happen, even though Fury Swipes is pretty good against Doom. Towards top lane, the lanes have shifted, and this is gonna free up the Venomancer to go pretty much 1v1 with the Darkseer, and if that was a 1v1 scenario from level 1, then the Darkseer would have had a much better time here, but because the Venomancer now has a level, has level 6, has level 3 in those Plague Wards, the Darkseer is actually gonna be the one to get his tower pushed in. Ion Shell does not fare well up against mass Plague Wards.
Absolutely sorry. So the Venomancer honestly is going to be celebrating in the lane matchup. He's finally managed to stabilize in his lane. I don't really like core Venomancer too much because he has such a weak laning stage, but under these circumstances where he had a little bit of space and he's now going to be able to farm in a lane without having too much of a care in the world, this is an ideal situation for the Venomancer. So for him, he could go for any item that he wants. He's got a Sage's Mask. Is this some sort of indicator as to what he wants to go for? Or is it just some mana regen? Because he's running a Ring of Bassi as well.
I'm pretty sure like he doesn't need any more mana regeneration. Like Sage's Mask and Basilius, you could spam out Plague Wards 24/7. Occasionally have mana for that Gale, but here comes Miracle up towards top lane. Now Venomancer doesn't do that great versus the wall and the Naga Siren coming in Surge. Venomancer did not see that one coming. Plague Wards do nothing against Surge. So it's going to be Venomancer to fall, and I expect the Venomancer just to go for the Blink Ags build, just try to get that poison damage over time sticking. Miracle is actually going very aggressively right now. He's going deep behind enemy lines. He's going to interrupt a little bit of a stack, but the stack that he's not interrupting is this Alchemist, who's at 2,800 gold just 9 minutes in with Phase Boots already completed. He's on top of the net worth chart, and of course that's exactly where any Alchemist wants to be. His Radiance is going to be coming up very quickly.
Yeah, so I'm surprised he's still gone for the Radiance, even though he went for that more, the slightly battle-oriented build compared to some Alchemists that do like to prefer to go for the Greevil's Greed. So do you think, like, the Alchemist this game, he's just going to go for the standard Alchemist stuff after the Radiance, so just building the standard Alchemist, or could he go in a different direction and pick up, like, an early Assault Cuirass to help out the team?
I think this route is fine. Like, 1 point concoction is no big deal. You're going to be getting your levels if you put out that many stacks. You're going to surge forward the Naga Siren, however, slowed down by the illusions of herself that are not surged, and they will be unable to go ahead and kill off this Bane. But similarly over towards bottom, they throw a Doom on the Ursa with just a Lich there. Like 0% chance they get that kill, so I don't really know what happened there for MVP. But, you know, while they're just trading cooldowns and just wasting First Departure's time, Alchemist not going to get the regen rune. Luckily for him, it wasn't a bounty rune spawn. That would have stung a little bit more, but if MVP are just wasting the time of First Departure right now with, you know, almost going for kills and almost escaping these kills, situations like that, then that is fine for them because Alchemist is power farming and Naga Siren right now is actually not. Like, she is a hero that also does want that Radiance ASAP, and she's just not going to get it in time if she's always looking for these unsuccessful kills.
Yeah, this is just the disadvantage of playing a Naga Siren, because for Miracle, he's trying to help out the Ursa and creating space for him, and Ursa, unfortunately, as a hero, doesn't really farm that quickly. He can farm a little bit quicker than certain heroes that do just focus down one target, but I think with the Ursa, most of your gold should be coming from kills. So if they do manage to get a successful kill here onto March, it'll be great here for the Ursa. So we'll see if they do manage to get the catch onto him, but I think there's ample time for Marsh to get the Scorched Earth off before he does get stunned. So they're gonna search. Oh, okay, that backfired badly.
That did not work at all.
Well, it happens.
Yeah, the Stomp from the Doom providing some serious value in this game. Miracle, however, is gonna find the stack of MVP. He's gonna take a Shockwave, and he is not spotted just yet, although now he is. Raisin's gonna find it, and it looks like he will actually kill off a couple of these little Mud Golems. Mud Golem Shards? Shard Golem. Close enough. So, yeah, stealing a good amount of gold away from the Alchemist, because Alchemist loves those little Shardlings. But yeah, the Naga Siren not able to stop him enough, and they're not really getting the Doom down. And now the grip onto the Naga Siren. She does have the song, but the concoction is being charged up by the Alchemist, and it's going to connect with the Brain Sap. Naga Siren down. Not only is the Alchemist going to clear off all these creeps, but he's going to take a kill to boot. That's going to be his Radiance gold at least. And still for First Departure, they're not really getting that much on this Ursa, so you know, Doom is not farming as fast as he can be because he's gone for maxed out Scorched Earth instead of maxed out Devour and 1 point level Death mixed in there as well. But still, this Alchemist is going to be power farming it up. And First Departure, they haven't really made many attempts at shutting down this Alchemist. Like, they went into his jungle a couple of times, but as far as bringing the Vengeful Spirit and Ursa to bear, no pun intended, they have not done any of that to shut down this Alch.
So for First Departure, what do they have to do at this point? Because they have Miracle, who's picked up Boots of Travels, which is an indicator that he still wants to have presence on the map, but he also wants to get his own farm. Are they just waiting for the Ursa at this point? Are they just using the Naga Siren as some sort of diversion to keep them away from the Ursa, so he gets his Blink Dagger at a decent timing.
It almost does seem like that, right? Like, this is kind of
Radiant's
a
top
core,
tower is under
quote-unquote
attack.
core Naga Siren. Miracles Naga Sirens are always core. But it's kind of being played as a support. Like, it's just a very high-level support Naga Siren. Like, the travels are going to, in theory, help her farm, but the reason you don't see travels before the Radiance is that you may be able to bounce everywhere as the Naga Siren, but you can't actually do that much once you arrive in lane. Like, you could Riptide them, sure. Oh, Doom's actually going to run into the Ursa, but Ursa gets bashed by Roshan. That means he can't go for March. Stomp is there. March does have Scorched Earth now available. Now here comes the Venomancer Gale. Onto 2, they get the Doom onto Lubby, and now he's going to for sure die, maybe by his own hands. Maybe he's going to get denied by the Dazzle. The Ursa's just going to leave, and Doom will get the kill in the end. And it looks like that will be 1 kill on the Vengeful Spirit. In the meantime, Miracle going to chase forward, going to go for this Bane, who already used the Brain Sap. Acid's on the deck. Chain Frost is there as well. The wall is deployed. Miracle is thinking about singing, but he will decide against it. Darkseer will retreat into the Doom. Venomancer Gale going to connect, and Cal, he does not have, well, he does have a Surge. There it is. Again, no hard disable here for MVP. The Bane is already down. The Concoction's way too far away. It is ultimately a 1-for-1, but that is not good enough for First Departure. They need to kill off this Alchemist or get kills, more kills than the Naga Siren.
Yeah, and it was also a really sad situation because that was just the time when they wanted to try and do a Roshan with the Ursa. He also picked up a double damage rune, which would have been ideal if he had the space for it, but it's just MVP Phoenix being in the right place at the right time, being able to not just disrupt the Ursa, but also completely stop the Rosh attempt. And they also got a little tiny kill, as you said, but it's just not quite enough. So I think First Departure, they're going to have to try and go for another Rosh attempt at some point. And we're not going to see a Blink Dagger on the Ursa. He's picked up a Morbid Mask. Is this supposed to be a Mask of Madness, a Helm of the Dominator,
I think it's just a Roshan item. Like, it's so cheap. I mean, it's not that cheap, but it's kind of a budget-y item that just enables you to go for Rosh. And it probably will be built in something later on, like maybe Vlad's, maybe Helm of the Dominator, Satanic down the line. But right now, I think he probably should be saving for that blink. Like we saw in that last fight, again, the problem of Ursa, he gets kited. Once you blink in Earthshock, getting kited is a little bit more difficult. But also, you usually don't get randomly bashed by Roshan when you're trying to go for those fights. I think if that bash wasn't there, they could have actually killed off that Doom incoming. But in the meantime, we got Lubby, who's dewarding. You're gonna see them coming. Alright, no problem just yet, but ooh, for the Venomancer, he's not going to go straight Ags, Blink Dagger. He's going to slow down for a Hand of Midas, and I don't really know when he got this, so I don't know the exact timing, but Midas on Venomancer is actually really legit. Like, level 16 ultimate, at the same time, roughly, you get the Aghanim Scepter. You get some pretty nice luxury items from Venomancer, like Veil of Discord is insane on the hero. You can do a lot with this item.
Yeah, I think it just compensates for the for Venomancer's main weakness. If he's played as a core and he doesn't get those levels, his impact is not as much as you would like for him to be. And by the time he does reach that level 16, most of the cores on the side of First Departure should be tanky enough to survive through it. So as you said, just getting that early level 16 really is gonna boost the effectiveness of the Venomancer much sooner. So that First Departure, yeah, they could kill the Veno, but once he's blown his kit, that's it. Like, he's done his job. So I'm just really upset about this Ursa though. If he didn't buy the Morbid Mask and they didn't really try and go for that early Rosh, they would have been able to grab the Blink Dagger probably like a minute or 2 minutes ago. And then they may have been able to go for kills, but that's really nice stuff though. Well, that was a good play.
Yeah.
At least the Ursa got a kill.
Got the Venomancer, that's going to be Vlad's.
And Lubby is now doomed.
Oh no, I'm
and being
wrong.
chased down by March. Rest in pieces.
Maybe.
Oh,
Again, there's a Dazzle in the area, so they have Grave. They have the ability to deny him. Oh, Lubby. Last time he was not denied. This time he will survive, but now the grip on the Dazzle. No Grave here. They need to interrupt this somehow. Here comes the Ursa. He's going to interrupt it with Brute Force. Raisin, though, going to drop the Nightmare onto the Ursa. Killed off by the Dazzle. Alchemist going to come in with the minus armor onto Lubby with the Radiance Burn and the Doom here. They'll still get the kill. Now they're going to dive the tower for Dazzle. The Radiance should get this kill in the end. Oh, Alchemist is going to go in there and do it the old-fashioned way. Have lost their Bane, so it is going to be a 2-for-2 support trade. But Doom and Alchemist were involved there, and for Alk to get involved in any kills, especially after having gone for a Shadow Blade, oh, that's interesting, actually. This is what he wants to be doing. He is still mixing up this fighting and farming, so Alchemist kind of going for this weird hybrid build. But with the Shadow Blade, Alchemist, we all know how you're supposed to operate the combo. Use Unstable Concoction, you Shadow Blade in, get the right click, get the stun, get the kill. Level 1 Unstable Concoction, kind of mediocre there. So I would have rather liked to see him go for something else before the Shadow Blade, and then maybe get Shadow Blade once has maxed out that Unstable Concoction.
Yeah, there is like a small added bonus to the Shadow Blade though. It's forcing the first departure supports to invest more into sentry wards, and considering how poor they are already, just having to invest that extra 200 gold into sentries, it could slow down their item progression, so you won't be seeing anything like Glimmer Caves or 4-stars or even like an urn as quickly as you'd like them to be. And I guess also another bonus is if they don't have detection and the Alchemist is pretty low, or if he doesn't really want to participate in the team fights, you just Shadow Blade and you just burn everyone to death. What can they do about it? There is some detection though on the 2 supports, or do they... Okay, they already put one down, so there's no detection. If they get caught, they could be in trouble, but the Lich, he might be fine. Yep, he's fine, but they will toggle off the Nightmare, so he's going to keep on chasing, and here comes a Venom. Just ruins the Ursa party. GG. Too slow.
Ursa does have that Blink Dagger, but you gotta Blink Earth Shock on the Lich and hope that Ryzen isn't there with the Nightmare and or the Grip. Here comes Cal, vacuum back into a wall, only on a couple of illusions, but Miracle's also here. He gets the Chain Frost out, and it's gonna bounce just twice. Now the song is there. Doom got interrupted mid-ulti cast, so yeah, Naga Siren is gonna be able to teleport out of there. She'll be fine. Alchemist now coming in from the north with the Haste Rune. Unstable Concoction not prepped up just yet. They'll Doom Lubby once again. They have a haste on the Alchemist. They're just going to go right in. The Radiance Burn, damage over time is insane here on the bench, but they want Cal instead, who surged off to the right side. Of course, Surge not that great up against the Haste Rune. ASDF may stun himself. Cal looking for a deny versus these Golems. The Golems aggro gets pulled off, and Alchemist will get the kill in the end. It's a 2-for-1 this time for MVP, still involving their Alchemist, and it looks like they think they're powerful enough to go for a Roche here. No, they're just going to grab the Bounty Rune for the Alch. That's a easy, how much gold at this point? I have no idea, but a lot. 400. Easy gold for the Alchemist, going into the Roche Pond pit with the maxed out Acid Spray. And for first departure, they have no songs, so that means they probably can't contest.
Not just song, but there's no wall either, so they're not really able to kill anyone on the side of MVP. So the score is 6-6. We're about 20 minutes into the game, but the graphs say otherwise. It's not that bad though. It's only a 7.5k net worth lead here for MVP, so there is still a chance of first departure to come back, but I think it's just, they're not running the best cores to really be able to come back. The Ursa's going to try and go for a BKB. He kills off the Lich, so nice little added bonus there for our Ursa. He needs a BKB so badly though. As you said, the kiting issues are real. They're going to try and go for the Dazzle in the mid lane though, so they do manage to get the stun. Can they chase him down in time though? And they could have caught him, but they're just going to back up.
They don't really want to be diving in tier 1, getting pincered in, and Cal looking for the deny will get it. So it is a nice little win there for first departure, getting the kill on the Lich and the deny afterwards. Now they're going to smoke up our first departure. They did see the Radiant Courier, and ASDF thinking about going for it, but he's going to grab an Invis Rune now. So he has Smoke Up, Shadow Blade, and Invis Rune. I don't know how you're going to see this Alchemist, guys, but he's now going to just walk around with the Radiance. Never mind. He's going to break it. No fun at all. But as you said, like, the lead is still in favor, technically, of MVP, but having an Alchemist on your team means that gold lead, it doesn't really mean as much as if they had, like, an Anti-Mage on their team who had this much net worth, because Alchemist needs to be, like, this far ahead to be considered, like, on par with any of those other given heroes, because he just doesn't use, he doesn't have the stat gain, he's just not a very useful hero outside of that gold department. And fortunately for first departure, Miracle is very close to his Radiance. He has the Relic already completed, and he's only 200 gold away from completing up that completed Radiance, so yeah, things aren't looking all bad for first departure, especially if Ursa keeps on getting these blink kills.
I think that's the biggest thing, that the Ursa, after he's picked up the blink, and he also, once he gets the BKB as well, I think that's going to be where first departure just uses the Ursa as a means of creating space for Miracle. And I'm surprised that Miracle's been able to get this much farm. Like, he, during the early game, was constantly moving around, trying to help make space for the Ursa, so he was able to get his items. And then the roles have been reversed. So it's now the Ursa there to try and make space for Miracle. And I'm really, I'm impressed, honestly, that they've been able to get 20-minute Radiance on Naga Siren in this game. So,
maybe a little slower for Miracle than usual, but still in this scenario, really, really fast. They're going to look for the Ursa over towards mid. Doom has picked up a Shadow Blade as well, which I'm not really sure I like. He's going to maybe catch Dazzle in a corner. He's trying to TP out. Doom is going to cancel it, and now he's going to put to sleep. They should wake him up, and they will with Scorched Earth and the Doom damage over time. Get a very easy kill on the Dazzle there. However, Alchemist is actually going to get put into a sandwich, an unpleasant one at that. He's going to hide. You got to turn off your Radiance, and he does. Lovey's going to walk. No, not right by. Don't breathe. Someone come and help their alchemist. They really need to back him up. But now Lubby, now he's in the sandwich. Oh, Vengeful Spirit, where are you going? Alchemist is going to pop right back out with the Brain Sap. They'll kill off Lubby. Yeah, okay. He thought there was no one there, but turns out Alchemist was in fact there. 2 kills now for MVP. And Alchemist all of a sudden has another 3,800 gold. 4,000 gold in the blink of an eye. So much more gold. Miracle is over towards mid lane, thinking about going for a Venomancer pick. Venomancer knows exactly what's going on, however. They're trying to force out the song right now of the Naga Siren. Grayson charging forward, looking for a Nightmare or Grip. Anything will work with the Ursa jumps right in. Grip is going to come in just in time, save the Venomancer for a little bit, but this song is going to interrupt it. Vacuum back, and now the Chain Frost is deployed with the wall. Is going to do 2 bounces to that Ursa, but he has a haste rune. He's not going to be caught up to anytime soon. Venomancer to fall is an expensive death here for MVP. I guess they do again pull off the Naga Siren's ultimate. But, yeah, for MVP, that was a little bit sketchy. Again, they aren't really well prepared to deal with chasing down heroes. They only have slows. They don't really have hard disables.
Yeah, the songs from Miracle this game have been pretty good, and it's been able to not only get them kills, but also save allies whenever necessary. And I think MVP, they're not really capitalizing on the song's cooldown. They don't have Doom now. Well, actually, they'll have it right now, so they do have some spells ready to try and go for any sort of jump. And Miracle's not going to be able to save them if that happens. But they're still farming. And Alk, he's picked up an Axe. Who's he going to put this on? Is it going to just go straight in the Veno?
I think probably Venomancer is the best one. Again, Venomancer, Doom, about tied as far as Aghanim's effectiveness. I'm actually surprised that he went for this one. He's going to give it to the Doom.
It's on Doom.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I think
fine.
it's reasonable. Yeah.
I'm actually very surprised that he went for the Aghanim Scepter right now. He has the Yasha in his inventory, and outside of the movement speed, the agility on Doom is, like, completely useless. On Alchemist, rather, is completely useless. So the only reason you get a Yasha on Alchemist is so that you can get rid of it and put it into a Manta style, so that you can actually power farm with those Radiance illusions, kind of play like a turbo farming Naga Siren. But he slowed down quite a bit for it. He's now going to look for a solo pickoff on this Ursa. He'll stun him, grab the creep wave, and is actually doing a lot of damage here. Ursa's going to pop his ultimate. He can now reduce damage, turn around with the Fury Swipes. ASDF has overcommitted. One more shot, not going to do it. He gets into the Shadow Blade. He's going to run into the Naga Siren. There's Radiance Burn, but Doom is going to live, and smoke backup is coming. Alchemist is going to get bottled up a little bit. I don't know if he can continue this fight. The illusions are still fanning out, but they won't be enough to kill off that Alchemist. We still have Doom with the Scorched Earth and Shadow Blade up, so damage over time while invis, obnoxious here from MVP. But that was very, very close to the Alchemist. Dying there would have been a disaster.
Oh god, that was so close to both teams, honestly. Like, any of them could have just gone for the jump, but I think it's just the first departure. Not having any sort of detection outside of sentry boards, it really isn't helping them. They had dust on the Ursa though. Did he just pick that up?
The courier's falling back. I think he did just grab it.
Yeah, if he had that Suda, he should have gotten that kill, but just a little bit of a punishment there for first departure, not respecting the Shadow Blades on the side of MVP. There's 2 Shadow Blades, so there's no reason to not have dust or sentry wards for any sort of ganks. And I think poor Ryzen might get caught here. Nightmare pop first. Is there any reinforcement there? I think Ryzen's going to hoof it out of here. But the blink is still ready on the Ursa, and I think he's going to try and pursue after the poor Bane.
Well, he's trying to bait for a grip.
Yeah.
Cal's right around the corner, however, so Ryzen is going to get jumped, and we will fall immediately. And he was trying to wait for the Lich, I guess, to come in. I don't really know why Bane wants to duel an Ursa. It doesn't really seem like a great idea. So that was kind of suicidal. But now Ursa, ooh, he's going to narrowly dodge the Alchemist, who's going to walk right by him. They're going to jump onto Heen. It's a Frost Blast out, but that Ursa is going to tear that Lich to shreds. 2 kills now for the Ursa. And First Parcher starting to get some kills. We can see the gold advantage for MVP not really providing huge dividends. They're now going to fan out their illusions over towards mid and prep the Enrage. Ursa looking to jump in towards the Alchemist, who has Shadow Blade. Is going to go invis. Dust is immediately there, however, does not have Unstable Caution just yet. He's going to chuck the potion, now pop his ultimate, but Ursa's right on top of him. He's BKB'd as well, so he's not going to get slowed down by anything, but he's just not fast enough to catch up to this Alch with the phase boots. They do kill off the Dazzle in the meantime. Now Miracle is doomed. He will get surged out of there. He may still die as they do get the slows onto Ursa. He'll drop to the Venomancer. Lubby now Nightmare is going to take an Unstable Caution to the Dome. Doom does kill off the Naga Siren in the end. It's going to be a 4-for-1 in favor of MVP. March doing some serious work in the background. Wasn't really paying much attention to him, but Aghanim Scepter Doom, guys, it is legit. That's why you give the Aghanims to Doom over the Venomancer, because of situations like that. It's a 4-for-1. MVP are going to get a tower in addition, and Alchemist, he teleported down to the bottom lane. They make it 2 towers in addition.
Yeah, beautiful. Not just a beautiful execution of a team fight for MVP, but they're also making the most efficient time when pushing down the towers. Like, you don't need everyone in the mid lane. If you can grab an extra tower in the process, why not? So MVP just coming up with some really good plays. They're going to get more than they should have. And Rish, the time is going to pop soon, so it's going to be 2.5 minutes. So no Rish. A little bit sad. If the Rish was up by now, it would have been an even bigger win here for MVP if they did check the Rish, because you just go for Rish right now if it was up.
Oh, bounty rune on the Alchemist. Should be another 400 gold, something like that. Easy monies. And now he has his Manta style completed, has the travels. It took a little bit longer perhaps to get to this stage. Stalled up a little bit for Shadowblade and Aghanims, but hey, Alchemist has 5,000 above the enemy Naga Siren. He's going to fan out those illusions and get a hell of a lot of gold from them. I'm interested to see where Alchemist is going to go next. And he has Phase Boots, he has a bottle, both of which can very easily be replaced. Shadowblade obviously can be upgraded, but also you have Aghanim Scepters to consider. Venomancer is actually going to grab a point booster of his own. I mean, we already went over how Aghanim Scepter Venomancer is absolutely crazy, but I think at this point they could actually afford to let the Alchemist buy it for him so he could save an item slot. I guess he could drop it later.
Unless you want to put the Aghanim Scepter onto another hero, like, you know the changes to the Bane Axe, right? Where
it's terrible, it's trash.
It's not, no, it's quirky, and because First Departure is running so many physical right clickers, or a lot of heroes that with with point click spells, don't you get nightmared?
No, it's only if you attack him. I thought it's just regular nightmare. It's not anything special. It's just if they attack you, then they get nightmared. Which, like, Ursa might get nightmared, but Venge Spirit can just like swap you out of the grip or magic missile you.
But does Venge really want to use a swap to cancel out a Bane ult? Because it means that you're not going to be able to use it defensively.
You're spending 4,000 gold for that, though. Like,
but it's an Alk. He farms 4,000 gold.
But
so
is
quickly.
that better than giving it to the Venomancer, or is that better than even giving it to the Lich?
Venno is so close to getting his Ags anyway. I guess Lich is pretty legit as well. It means that First Departure is forced to fan out because they typically want to be together, to be in range to help each other. So I can understand the Lich Ags being taken, but
I think
come on, I just want to give the Vayne some love, okay? Come on.
Eventually, he's going to be the last one to get the Aghanims if they actually are still playing this game by the time they have that much gold in the Alchemist. Like, I think even, upgrading your Phase Boots to something else, upgrading the Shadow Blade to something else, replacing your bottle, those all take higher priority than giving the Bane that quote-unquote safe Fiend's Grip. I think this Venomancer could have actually gone for Octarine Core, and that would have been pretty legit with then getting an Aghanim Scepter from the Alchemist.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening as well.
It's too late.
It depends though. It depends what MVP wants to prioritize on their team. Like if they want to prioritize their cores first, or if they want to put a little bit of gold investments into their supports. So it's up to MVP. Honestly, MVP is such a different team to standard Dota 2 teams. Like for example, their drafts in particular, these guys run Warlock. I've never seen many other teams. I don't think I've seen any other teams outside of Asia run Warlock. I guess there are a couple that pick them every now and again, but just, I don't know. It's just Korean Dota.
Picks them up a lot more often. Like I know I saw CIS Rejects run Warlock I think twice. I mean that's fine, but it's definitely not a common trend. They're gonna jump into the Roche Pit and tear him apart. They got the Shiva's Guard now on Doom, so they have that minus attack speed, great versus that Naga Siren and the Ursa both. But more importantly, perhaps they have armor, and now they're going to get a Nightmare jump onto the Ursa. He's going to get gripped. Aghanim Scepter would make no difference here for the record, but Ursa's going to fall anyway. Now they get the Doom onto the Dazzle. Shiva's Guard slow is going to touch him, and he's going to fall. Double kill for the Dazzle. Where is Cal going? I guess he could just TP out of this, although there's a Basher on the Alchemist. First at Bash, second at Bash, no, third? No, he's not going to get it. Unlucky for the Alchemist, would have definitely gotten the kill otherwise, but still, he's going to clean up the top lane. There's a little bit of split push here from the Naga Siren, but there's already a surviving creep wave here for MVP, and as long as Doom is in the front, taking the creeps hits, and as long as Alchemist has travels available, and he will have in just 1 second, it looks like this is going to be a high ground attempt for the MVP side. They're going to jump with Raisin, look for a Nightmare, backing back into a wall. He's going to do a little bit, but Guardian Greaves immediately popped afterwards. Now Cal hit with the Gale. Here comes the Alchemist. He's popping that potion soon on himself, it seems. A little bit awkward, but no real follow-up. Magic Missile doing absolutely nothing because it's only level 1. And everyone else is just focusing the objective. It's the tower. Ursa will be up in 5 seconds. And Naga Siren has cut off the reinforcing creep waves. There's still a catapult here, though, so no backdoor protection. Plus, they're doing a hell of a lot of damage. Blinking Nightmare onto the Vengeful Spirit. They're just going to ignore her. Cal gonna get another vacuum back into the wall, which is still there. Marsh gonna take a hell of a lot of damage, but he does have the Shivas, and he does have the Aegis. So he's gonna die, but not a big deal. Chain Frost bouncing through, not doing too much against the BKB Ursa. They'll take down the Venomancer. March now gonna try to go for the melee racks. They just need to bring down the structures. The Alchemist is not committing just yet. March may fall again. He will get the Darkseid before he dies. But the melee racks is still surviving. Venomancer Plague War is not focusing their fire. Nightmare into the Ursa now. They will brain stab the Vengeful Spirit, get that kill. Ursa gonna fight to the death versus the Alchemist. Won't quite do it in time. The grave is there. The heals are there. Ursa looks like he will live. Net now going towards Heen, and this Lich is just gonna get chased down by the Naga Siren with the Ion Shell. They do hold the melee Araxes, as MVP actually, I think, ran out of mana on the Alchemist, so they couldn't pop the Chemical Rage and send him back in. Miracle still chasing forward. Song of the Siren gonna catch Raisin. Short just for a little bit of stable, but now they have the Ensnare if they even need it. They won't. Cal's Ion Shell is gonna get that kill, and MVP lose 4 heroes. They get a hell of a lot in exchange, but they don't gain the Raxes.
Exactly. And unfortunately, for First Departure as well, they haven't really been able to take any other T2s aside from the top lane. So they have to go through this extra layer of protection if they do want to try and go for a push, or they just bypass it and possibly go into the top lane. Are they really ready to push high ground though? MVP's cooldowns are pretty short, so it's not like they're going to be dead for another 30 or so seconds.
When you push in the creep waves, it just means that Alchemist is going to get easier access to gold. It's probably not even worth it for them to try. Everyone else from MVP is going to survive. We now have the Silver Edge on the Alchemist.
Wraparound?
Yeah, they're looking for him. They get the Doom. Shiva's Guard touch needs to be there, and they will slow him down just a little bit. That's going to kill off the Ursa for sure. SDF going to grab that kill and a Bounty Rune. Now cashes up to 3,000 gold after having just bought the Sange and Silver Edge upgrade. And now it seems like, yeah, they have to deal with Miracle, who's being a pretty typical Naga Siren 30 minutes in. But, oh, they actually do catch him. Nightmare's there. Do they know that this is the real one? They might just know. They have the grip, and there's nothing in the area that can actually interrupt it. There's the grip. Miracle's not going anywhere. He's also holding a gem, so that's going to be dropped. Okay, Chain Frost might have been a little bit too much there. He might have been a little bit too much. But they get the kill anyway. And that is a super dead Naga Siren for a minute. That means no split push shenanigans. She can buy out, so she will be ready to fight, but this is not a Naga Siren that's ready to fight. This is a Naga Siren that's only ready to split push.
So we'll see if this defense can come out from First Departure. Remember, there's no Aegis this time though, so if MVP does get caught out by the Ursa, then whoever gets targeted will definitely die. 15 seconds left from the Ursa though, so this could be a small opening. Vacuum Wall already thrown out by the Darkseid. Wants to try and delay this for as long as possible, and looks like the Alchemist throws a bomb. Now, at this point, okay, I think, are they going to try and kill heroes? They're kind of thinking about it. They have to pop the Manta Star to get out of there, and they get swapped back in, but there's no more follow-up disables or stuns, but the song's going to be here. So, Ursa getting in a position, going to get a 3-man, nope, doesn't even get a 3-man Earth Shock, so all of a sudden, he's popped BKB, going to try and fight up against 2 tanky heroes, but he's just getting kited. They're so quick, they're actually going to ensnare the courier. Oh my god, what was on the courier? Okay, I have to double check that later on, unless you can do it for it now, as we're watching Miracle running away from an Alchemist who's really upset. Oh, actually gets a really clutch mirror image, but gets picked up in the meantime, and all of a sudden we have the Ursa by himself, managed to blink out, but we've got it's just a Lich. If it was a Doom, they may have been able to really get onto the Ursa, but the chase is still happening. Heen, you're such a man, but be careful, it's still an Ursa.
Don't poke the bear.
Revenge! Revenge! No revenge.
Well, MVP, they pretty much win the fight just because First Departure don't have buybacks anymore on the Naga Siren. The Alchemist is going to get back to the base, but he'll travel out of here, and maybe could have waited a couple more seconds to be at full HP, but now has a BKB. Raisin's going to blink forward, still has that grip. They still have a Doom. I mean, I think they have actually another Doom, but either way, this is Raxus to fall in the mid lane. They're going to slide down to the bottom lane, trusting the fact that the creep will kill off the range eventually. And now the Ursa's got to go. Like, he's got to go now, but even if he does jump into the Alchemist, this is an Alchemist with a Silver Edge and Basher. It's not an easy hero to kill off. He can just also pop BKB. He's going to get swapped right back in, but he's just going to stealth out of there. And now Lubby's going to hit with the Frost Blast, and he's definitely going to fall to someone. Raising in the meantime, getting a grip onto the Ursa, who's also doomed up. May get Grave, but there's no escape here. The Acid, the Doom, so many damage over time effects. Nightmare is going to be the Doom to kill him off in the end. Nog Siren will be up in 5 seconds, but again, with no Ursa, there's no fight here. MVP cannot go for top lane because they still have a tier 2 to work through, but they've cashed in so hard after this fight. The amount of items that they can buy after this is going to be insane. They're actually going to catch Nightmare onto the correct Naga Siren illusion. They kind of want to go for tier 4s. I think this might be a little bit excessive. This is putting them at risk, but still, no Ursa means that there's no fight here first departure. ASDF happily tanking those tower shots. Ice armor on him, helping out in quite a big amount. They get vacuumed back into a wall, but again, there's no follow-up to that. Gale's gonna miss. March gonna charge forward with a huge concoction. We'll catch 2, and that's gonna be the Darkseer down. Miracle's gonna BK or sing, and ASDF has the BKB up, is gonna give him the chase. Does he have enough BKB timer for this one? It seems like he does. Miracle now put to sleep. Radiance Burn will wake him up, or no, Brain Sap will. No Naga Siren. Ursa will be up soon, but MVP have only lost the Lich. It's over.
God, this looked like it could have been the game for first departure if MVP didn't push for maybe another 10 or so minutes. But they put the pedal to the metal. They start pushing high ground. Just first departure, I feel like first departure with the Ursa pick, it was a step in the right direction. They couldn't really get the Ursa online as quick as they would like to, and there was some miscommunication errors. Like they would try and go for these swap Earth slams at the Ursa, and it just felt like the slams came way too late. I think it was just small miscommunications between the Ursa and the Vengeful Spirit. If they got some of those kills, I think that may have been enough to get the Ursa much more farm than he currently has now. And also I think another issue is like just kiting issues for Ursa. He was just so dependent on the BKB. When it ran out, you get doomed, you get gripped, you get Venegaled, you get hit by Lich stuff. God, there's just so much kiting issues for Ursa. Like the Darkseer kind of solved it with the Surge, but it just wasn't enough. The Ursa was just so dependent on his team, and they just didn't have enough to really keep the Ursa alive. And also Miracle wasn't quite enough too. He just had a Radiance and a Manta style, and that was it.
Cal's setups were really good in the Darkseer. Several vacuum walls, but with no damage follow-up, I mean, there's nothing you could do about this. I'm not convinced that the Vengeful Spirit is the way to go for first departure. If they had someone just like a Disruptor or someone to lay a Static Storm on top of that vacuum wall, they could have taken so many more fights, but Vengeful Spirit had a couple of good plays, but 185, the pick, especially as a first round pick, not giving dividends to first departure. This means that MVP are going to grab 2 points off of this series, guys. First departure, I don't believe have played any other games, so they're sitting at 0. So MVP starting the secondary group stage off on the right foot. We were supposed to have Ninjas in Pajamas going up against Stark, which would have been a sick game. But unfortunately, Ninjas in Pajamas double booked, so they're going to get a def loss, which really sucks, because I would have wanted to see that game, but what are you going to do? Ninjas in Pajamas, jeez. Just have to get on their shit with their scheduling. But that means that the next game, guys, is not going to be happening for another 2 hours. That one is going to be between Golden Boys and 4 Clovers. It's going to be on this channel, so be sure to keep your eyes open for that. And then 4 hours after that, we have Archon versus Keyed Stars. That one should also be very interesting from the American region. But for right now, we're done. Guys, I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Daneliecasts. If you enjoyed the stream, be sure to follow because there's a lot more GameShow in the upcoming days. Also follow us on Twitter at Mikelorus, at Daneliecasts. It's all on the stream in the upper right. It's all in the title. And we'll see you guys next time.